Welcome to the pod at My Village,
where we're going to have fun talking all things family preservation, My Village Ministries, and the church's involvement in this important work.
We are Phil and Mel, and we know nothing about running a podcast, but a little bit about running a family preservation ministry. All right, we're here. Ready to have a spicy conversation.
So spicy. Melody,
do you have something to say or not?
Not really.
Okay.
I was hoping someone would come to me with that.
I'm glad that you remembered my name. It's a strong start.
Yeah, it is a strong start to our day, to the podcast.
I wish this was the start of our day. It's like 20 ridiculous things have already happened.
No, we've talked about this already on the pod, on how many ants we have in our office. No. Yeah. But
if you ever see our eyes like wandering to the side, it's because an ant is slowly
some
crawling
sort of
across
creature
the desk.
There's just so much going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. A lot of moving pieces. Luckily, we're trying to bring the right people alongside us to manage all the moving pieces.
Yeah. 4 new people in the last 2 weeks.
It was pretty crazy. So we had staff meeting yesterday, and there were 16 people around the table. When I came on staff, I was number 5.
Yeah.
You started with 3 people. So
that was just 6 years ago.
Yeah, not even. I hit 5 years in January.
Yep, carry the one. Yep.
Carry the one. Yeah, and there's like all these incredible things with that, and there's hard things about growing and figuring out how to have your processes be clean and all your people working together well, and what are your teams all doing. And but there is something, and you were alluding to it yesterday around the table. There's something to looking around and seeing, man, no one at this table needs to say yes, and certainly the Lord doesn't need to keep doing all the things he's doing. And it just is a testament to his faithfulness and to seeing the church say yes in our city. And
to your point, no one in that table is saying yes because of
the benefits package,
the benefits package, or because they wanted an easier life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now,
you and I have done a couple interviews where we were like, you're currently making what Phil and I make put together.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to be able to hire you.
Yeah. Great. Plus.
Together
Together plus. Which is encouraging.
It is. I'm happy for us.
Yeah. Hey.
No, agreed. None of us are doing it for the benefits. But man, praise the Lord too that so many give so faithfully that we are able to pay our staff and pay them somewhat well. We'll throw the word somewhat in there.
Yeah. I was encouraged by our first staff meeting with 16.
Yeah. I thought it went well.
Yeah, it went,
It's forcing you and I to get a little more organized.
I know. It's quite unfortunate.
We can just sit around and shoot the breeze for hours.
We can't joke around
staff.
as long.
Yeah.
I can't. What is sad, though, you get to 16, it is hard for me to actually, like, cook everything from scratch.
Yeah.
Because that's like feeding a
Do
small
we need
army.
a second skillet for you? Because what I really want to eat is your like scramble hash thing that you make.
No, it's just I got to be able to have enough time to get to the. It's really a time factor. You have to like fast for like 4 days just to prepare.
Do you want my help?
Cooking that much? No, that's feels wrong. I'd probably just get mad at you.
Yeah, you do every time I ask you. You're like rushing around the kitchen. Do you need some help? You always say no, and then like 2 minutes later, you're like, "Hey, could you cut this up?"
You know, it's.
Is it like a pride thing that makes you have to say no first?
Aaron will testify to this, that this is a true statement that I'm making. I probably have some PTSD. And here's why.
Oh, no.
I make 93% of our dinners at home. I come home, and usually I don't have a lot of time, and I don't have a meal plan. So I'm trying to figure out what in the crap am I going to put together that is in our fridge that can resemble some sort of meal.
You don't have a meal plan?
No.
Never. How do you know to buy at the grocery store?
Just whatever's on sale.
Feels good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. No, it turns out to be, usually I think of something that morning where I'm like, I could probably do something here. But that's not always the case. And so 32% of the time I'm coming home with, I have no idea.
Do you have a deep freezer with like extra meats and stuff?
Yeah. But
so we don't own a deep freeze. So I have to get exactly, for our size family, exactly what we will eat fits in our fridge and freezer.
Yeah. First world problem right there.
It's a second world problem.
Yeah, no, it's
You're having 1.5 problems with your deep freeze.
Yeah, not fair. But so I'll start cooking, and then like I'm winding down on making the meal, and And at this point, I would appreciate some help from Erin. And so she usually asks, hey, can I help with something? I'm like, yeah, it'd be great if you figured out because normally we cut up fruit or something for the kids, and she could pull out the plates and the silverware. And so normally it's like, yeah, you mind grabbing the plates, the cups, the forks, cut up some fruit. And so I tell her that, and she just doesn't do anything. Yeah, she gets distracted. She literally pulls a fill and gets distracted by something else with the kids or something else, and does maybe 13% of what I asked her to do. And so I've just given up on asking her anything. Yeah. Because it's better me to just work harder and prolong it than me to be angered.
Yeah.
Tying into that. Yeah. And my wife.
Just some bitter resentment is growing in your heart.
So I just joke around with her at this point. Remember that time when I asked you to do everything to prepare the table and you did nothing?
Can she acknowledge it and laugh about it?
At times, yeah.
Or is it for the love I'm doing 100 other things you're not?
I think there's a part of it that is still there with her, but Erin, you need to get over that and laugh about it at this point.
I'm on Erin's side.
I know you are. You'll never take my side. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, but you probably take Jeff's side. Right?
No, yeah. After what I learned about you, about me today, I just does that make sense? I learned this about you, about me. Meaning, I learned
what you're saying.
Meaning, I truly learned how you feel about me. No, so now I don't expect you to think highly of me at all.
I feel like we just need to tell the people what I said. So we're on a consultation
and there's no confusion.
Call.
Yeah, it's not cryptic. People just know how Melody feels about her co-director, who she co-labors with every single day.
Listen, my respect level for you is incredibly high. Yeah, and my disrespect level.
I like how there wasn't. You're very strategic with not the but the and.
I would follow you / co-lead with you pretty much anywhere you want to go. Yeah. However, you made a comment on a call today with somebody who's way smarter than both of us, trying to help us organize our processes. And you said, I might be too dumb to understand how hard this is going to be. And I said, this is fine.
Yeah. No.
I said, I think you are too dumb to understand how hard this is going to be.
But friends, listening, it wasn't just what she said, but it was the confidence in which you said it. There was so much conviction and confidence in that statement.
I actually don't think
it hurt a little bit. It hurt a little bit.
Yeah, just one tear rolled down his face. I actually don't think you're dumb at all. I think that you don't overthink things, to your credit, which makes you a good leader. But it makes you also not always realize what all is happening in the background.
But it does make you dumb.
I already acknowledged that I had a high level of disrespect alongside my high level of respect.
Anyone new listening to this who has thought about joining NVM has just stopped listening.
Yeah, no, and then there's another kind of person that wants to be on this couch with us.
You know what? I could help them. We could help them.
I can see the gaps. I can see them.
It's like they see this as the mercy ministry. Let us help them help others.
We've come full circle. We're serving the church, but the church is serving Phil and I.
I feel like this could rapidly turn into a therapy session.
I promise that we did not drink before we started recording today.
Yeah, that's what you think.
Yep. Okay, so do we want to introduce the topic or do our questions first?
No, questions first.
Questions first?
Yeah, and I want to ask the first one. So
yes, sir.
Yesterday for our staff meal, I went to Costco for the majority of our food and picked up, if you guys know this, the mixed nut butter. Yeah. So it's so good. Kirkland's mixed nut butter.
It's amazing you had to buy more. I feel like you have a constant stock of that.
Well, we mainly have just the peanut butter, but the consistency, the flavor, everything's so good.
There's just a whole Kirkland's tube of it stuck in your pocket of your hoodie.
Probably, yes. Yeah. I just, in this open jar, just like a teddy bear, reaching in there, just pawing it out.
Double finger.
Hey, Phil, why is there peanut butter in your knuckles everywhere? Well, it's because I have an open jar in my pouch. Did you just kangaroo that nut butter?
We have 0 listeners. Okay, we're going to literally have to cut all of this out because I'm just crying.
I just realized no one has ever said, probably in the history of the world, kangaroo nut butter. I just kangaroo nut butter.
Yeah.
That is what I do, though.
Can we write that down as another book title idea? What did we have last week? It was like,
it's like creative idea.
Fun owner.
Gosh.
Fun owners. So we're going to write that book.
Man.
And now we're going to write kangaroo nut butter.
Gosh.
I don't know what it's about, but it'll be good.
Yeah. I feel like we need a verbal timeout to recover. But we're gonna push through because we can do hard things.
What is your question about the nut butter?
Anyways, nut butter. We had, not all of it was consumed yesterday, so I came in to the office and I saw it sitting on the counter. So naturally, like, oh, I need an apple with nut butter. Mm-hmm. So it made me think of this first question for you. If you could convert something into a butter that is not. What would you convert to? That could be this nice schmear on whatever it is that you wanted to be: bread, apple, banana.
Yeah. I also think similar to kangaroo nut butter, nobody's ever asked, what would you convert into butter?
Yeah. Some sort of schmear that's not out there.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to go with apple cobbler. Does that count?
I guess, yeah.
You can make that into a schmear and have like a really yummy apple cobbler toast.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. Yeah, that's a good call.
Do you have one? Would you do a savory one or a sweet one?
I'd do a sweet one. Yeah, I do a sweet one. I really love watermelon in the summer, but how would you if there's a way you could convert that
watermelon schmear on?
Dude, I don't know. Just
other fruits?
Yeah, bread. Yeah, it could be like a fruit dip. I don't know. Pancakes, something. French toast.
I could see it. Watermelon's okay.
You don't like it that much? No.
It's fine.
Man, when you get a good ripe one, the secret is picking out the right one, which my wife also not too great at picking out watermelon. She can't be good at everything.
Erin is just under the bus.
She's good at everything but helping set the table and picking out watermelon. Seriously, everything else she's really good at.
Those are the two things.
Yeah, the two things. But I'm working on it.
Okay, this is my questions are going to allude to our topic later, both of them. I want to know, when you get angry, what do you do? Do you get quiet? Do you get loud? Do you get sarcastic? Do you walk away? What is like Phil's go-to anger?
When I get angered, I take it out on my kids.
I turn them into a schmear. That's good.
No,
it's really good advice for our host families.
Depending on the level of my rage, I will deflect it to something humorous. Obviously,
will it be like
because it's
a little
emotion.
more cutting, mean humor than normal?
I don't know.
Like, do you get real sarcastic, or do you just bury your emotions?
Or no, I'm a typical guy. I'm going to bury it for like 4 weeks.
Yeah,
and then I'll forget about it.
And then it will come out sideways.
No, I usually I'll sit on it typically, and then I'll explode.
Don't let it show.
That's how.
Do you ever take it out on Ben?
Not yet. Give it time.
Yeah, you will.
Ben and I had a great prayer time the other day. Side note, it's great.
Yeah, I think it was not quite as great as my prayer time, but it did sound good.
Of what prayer? What?
My one at Potter's house.
Yours did sound remarkable.
And
I don't know. Ben and I were
talking.
Yeah, I believe that yours was powerful.
Yeah, I don't really want to compare them.
No, we should.
I'm sure they were both incredible.
No, we were talking. We had a good conversation on our drive home yesterday, somewhere just pertaining to the presence of the Spirit when you pray. Anyways, maybe that's a whole podcast we could talk about because it's interesting to think about.
Dana and I were talking about this today, do you think you can feel a deeper presence of the Spirit if you're speaking in tongues than if you're not?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I'd say no. I want to know. You'd say no.
Yeah. I think I could confidently say no.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I had a super powerful prayer time Thursday morning also, but it was at Potter's house. And just love to pray, man.
Yep, love to pray.
Got to lay that stuff down.
Yeah.
It's too heavy to carry.
Yeah. How about that roller coaster of topical, emotional stuff we just went through in the past?
If we don't cry from laughter and cry from sadness on this podcast, I'll be sad about that.
My question pertaining to emotions is, what is the predominant emotion you feel most days of your life?
That's a hard one to answer.
Do you need this to help you think through
I
it?
do. I want to say joy. I feel joy a lot. Praise the Lord.
If only you had a middle
But
name.
maybe, if only I did have a middle name, maybe overwhelm. It's somewhere between joy and overwhelm.
Really?
My like hard emotion I feel is overwhelm. I feel overwhelmed a lot.
Do you?
You can't tell?
No.
It's because of all the joy.
Yep, it is.
I do feel like and I think it's because, I hope it's because of a rhythm of worshiping in the mornings that brings like a lot of joy to my life.
We're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, but I do feel like my prevailing negative emotion is overwhelm.
Yep,
Yeah. Okay, you ready for your question?
I am.
What is your most embarrassing anger reaction that you've ever had to your kids?
Oh, my word. No.
Is that too mean of a question?
That is so mean. People
I
already
have, if
think
it makes
I'm
you feel
dumb.
better, I have.
Not only is he dumb, he's really angry.
Yeah.
He's a dumb, angry.
No, it wouldn't be
individual.
embarrassing if you were angry all the time at them. It's embarrassing because you're like, whoa, why did I overreact like that? I have a story to tell so that it's not one-sided. And
Oh,
you're
yeah.
the
You
only
go
one.
first. Maybe I'll help me think of
Okay.
which one I'm willing to share.
Yeah. Mine's pretty embarrassing.
Does it involve bopping?
No, that was towards Jeff. And I'm not embarrassed about it. I'm proud about it.
Bong.
I have never bopped my kids on the head. No, it was like shortly. It actually will tie in. I'll come back to it later when we talk about one of our big topics today. But shortly after my brother died, I would say in general, I was feeling a lot of overwhelm and loss of control in my life. And so sometimes when I have a loss of control in some things, then I will hyper control other things. And it was just one of those days. We had 4 kids at the time, and they just had not done anything I asked them to do at all for a long period of time that day. And there was something I had asked them to go do, and my anger had been like kind of growing, and I was in the kitchen cooking, and they all walked by like clearly not doing what I asked them to do. And I was holding a baking sheet, and they were like pretty far away from me, like 20 feet or something. And I was like, please, for the love of God, like literally banged the baking sheet on the edge of the oven till it like the baking sheet bent. Yeah. And it was super loud because it's a baking sheet and it's an oven.
Yeah.
And they were all kind of like froze and then obediently marched off. And later I had to go and repair with them. But I felt like that was pretty extreme that I had to go think about why my emotions were so heightened that I was willing to break one of our baking sheets.
Yep. As one should.
Yes. Have you
I'll use that
ever
one.
broken anything?
No, I have.
In
Yeah.
anger?
I have. Our kids don't have their own personal iPad, but ironically, for one Christmas, we gave all the staff. Were you here?
Yeah, we did. We got
That
some
was
really
probably your
good
first
deal.
year. We got,
it was my
it
first
was
year.
the Amazon Fire
Mhm.
tablet thing.
Mhm.
And so on a rare occasion, we'll let our kids jump on that for their screen time. Rare. Well, one of our kids had it, was not getting off. I literally just ripped it out of their hands and chucked it.
Shatter on the
It
wall.
broke. It's still functional. It's just we have all those iPhones or cell phones with the broken screens. That's what it is now.
How quick was your like come down and apology versus like I gotta go keep cooling off?
I was
for a while?
later that day. Yeah.
Same with me.
With my kids,
it was not like I broke the
with
dam.
my
I was like, I'm
kids,
so sorry, guys.
Yeah. With my kids, I'm more quick to repair than with my wife.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, which I
Should
think
I have
that's-
asked what was your most embarrassing outburst of anger towards Erin?
Yeah. Yep. I too ripped the tablet out of her hand because she was not
Through the
listening.
wall? Did you bop her
Yeah,
on the head?
her screen time was up, and she wasn't.
Was she supposed to be setting the table?
Yeah. She was hiding in the corner
asked
under
you
a
to do
blanket as if I
one
wouldn't
thing.
find her playing on the tablet. I'm like, why is the table not
Oh my gosh.
Erin sneaky like that?
She's so sneaky. Erin, just when you listen to this, know that I had your back. I know you weren't doing that. And also I'm praying for you as you deal with Phil's husband.
What would you do if you found Jeff
I didn't replace it.
on consuming something on a screen?
Just like, and I'm like calling his name and he like won't come out. from
And
the
you
blanket.
find him because
Like, you can't see me 'cause
All
I
you hear
can't
is
see you.
giggling and like a blanket moving. Like, Jeff. I'm pretty sure you're under that blanket in the corner.
But he like won't reveal himself.
He has like his whole leg sticking out.
He does giggle a lot. Oh gosh.
Goodness sakes, this is
so ridiculous. This might be an irredeemable podcast.
I think it's fitting actually.
Yeah.
Because there's so much laughter and joy right now.
So much.
That it's going to combat what it is that we're going to talk about. No, we're going to talk about anger.
We are.
Which may seem weird to talk about on this podcast pertaining to family preservation. But the great Tammy Smith, which most of you know.
She loves when you call her the great Tammy Smith.
Yeah, she does. She likes it when we hype her up. No, she was at our recent gathering, which was not just a host family gathering. It was coaches and ministry leads as well. Great turnout, great time together. And she facilitated this great discussion, essentially talking about what it takes to have longevity in ministry.
Yeah.
Great topic, great conversation, great truths that she brought to the table. But one of the things that I've heard her talk about that really resonated with me again at this gathering was her talking about how anger is just, it's caused by a blocked goal.
Yeah, it signifies a block.
It signifies a blocked goal. And it made me realize that, man, this would be a good thing that I think all of our host families and coaches and even mentors specifically should be aware of, because they will be encountered with that emotion of anger by a parent or a kid
or in themselves.
And I think it's really good to have a pulse on that reality. I think it's so accurate in how she described it, that it's an indicator to a blocked goal. So anyways, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But I think what's important for us to first address within anger is that I kind of have this conviction that anger has been a little bit downplayed within the church, because it's oftentimes, and not that this is inaccurate, but it's defined as this secondary emotion, which I think that's true. And we're going to get into that later with the feelings wheel, which is a really good tool to use. But when you look at Scripture, Scripture does not think highly of the emotion of anger.
Yeah.
And, let's just rattle off a few truths or verses or stories that speak to this. Two of the most famous ones are, do not let the sun go down while you're still angry, otherwise you'll give a foothold to the enemy. So there's something about that emotion that gives a foothold to the enemy. Yeah. That really can limit who it is that you need to be as a Christ follower.
Well, I think there's something in that verse that indicates there's an action step you can take to rid yourself of the anger.
And urgency.
Yes.
And there's an urgency to it. So something there. I mean, we could dive into each one of these passages probably just in itself and take up a whole podcast. But then the one in James where it says, for man's anger does not bring about a righteous life that God desires. So when you have anger in your life, there is no way for you to be living consistently within the righteous life that God desires of us. But then when you think about the story of Moses, I mean, when you kind of have to read between the lines, because it doesn't explicitly say this, but he pretty much couldn't enter the promised land because of disobedience flowing out of anger. So that anger caused disobedience, which prevented him from even entering the promised land, which is what he fought for 40 years of his life. And really did so well in leading a bunch of morons, a bunch of fills through the desert. Anyways, and we could talk about more. So all that to say, I just think we should be pretty sensitive to the emotion of anger, because God doesn't think highly of it. Yeah. Anything I guess you want to comment on before we go into?
Yeah, there were a couple other verses that I've been thinking about some. There's the one that talks about like, in your anger, do not sin.
Correct.
I think some of these verses really indicate not that we should be shocked when we experience anger. We're going to experience anger. There's also the verse that talks about everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. So there's again an indication of anger is an emotion that God created, allows, we will experience. But here are kind of some parameters to it. Be slow to anger. In your anger, do not sin. Get rid of that anger before the sun goes down. That anger is not going to lead to righteousness. So I just think more than a lot of emotions in the Word, God is specifically addressing anger and how it should play out in your life. And I had I know that I told the story about the baking pan like it was pretty funny,
Yeah.
but I actually have a ton of conviction around how my sin of anger is a way more serious sin than any sin my kids have ever committed against me. When they're in those years where they're just, it's just all about obedience and they're just struggling with disobedience. And sometimes my kids are doing great at it, but I was like, gosh, man, my anger response, I'm like sinning in that a lot more than they are sinning in their disobedience. And it became a thing that I had to practice confession with really regularly, and have gone to these scriptures a lot of times, like what you shared. In particular, thinking through this idea of how anger does not bring about the righteous life God desires. If I want to be leading my children towards righteousness, anger will not be the methodology that I can do that through.
Yeah.
So when you suggested anger as a topic for today, even though that sounds maybe kind of funny at surface value and you didn't immediately explain it, it clicked right away. Like I think that's a great thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Because most of us are balancing heavy and hard things, and anger just can be a piece of that. Overwhelm or big emotions that you're feeling.
Correct.
There.
Yeah. And going into that verse that you just said, in your anger, do not sin. We will make stupid decisions when we're angered.
Yeah.
And this is what at times will cause a call in to children's services that leads to kids ending up in foster care because a parent, unfortunately, or an adult made a really poor decision in the midst of this high emotion of anger. And again, secondary emotion, there's other emotions underneath that. But that feeling, that emotion of anger, there's something there that God is sensitive to. That, and he's given us, I think, appropriate warning in light of that. And so I guess flowing from that, going back to what we originally talked about with this being this block goal, I'm going to throw out some kind of like scenarios, for lack of a better word, to you. You as a host parent are the object of a parent you're serving, their anger. Like it's very clear that they're angered and they're taking that anger out on you.
Yeah.
What are you tempted to feel in that moment, and how should you maybe process that appropriately in light of this reality of anger being an indicator that there's a block goal?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think our first reaction is going to be defensive.
Yep.
And maybe even a little prideful of like, kind of, how dare you be mad at me? I'm extending my home and my life towards you, and you're choosing to respond to me in anger. And I think we talk a lot about this in our relationship building part of training, but if we're really understanding the source of some of these emotions, when it's a can't, not a won't, when they might be feeling triggered or shame or now having a greater understanding of they're experiencing a blocked goal, it should lead us, instead of being judgmental and defensive, to actually being really curious. And we should be able to learn to approach with curiosity when a parent has a big emotion towards us, and to say, like, I wonder what is behind this, and can I ask questions that help me gain understanding, instead of jumping to a conclusion that, like, they're just the worst and they have no right to be angry at me. Yeah.
I mean, would you not? I mean, you would obviously agree with this. The enemy wants to capitalize that on a way to where he then convinces you that they become the enemy. And the simple truth that Tammy also reminded us of about a week ago is that isn't our enemy. Our enemy isn't against flesh and blood, but the enemy wants to convince you that that parent is the enemy. And I think what we have to be, I think the proverb that we need to be, I think, pretty prayerful of within this ministry, where it says, it's to a man's glory that they don't take offense.
Yeah.
Like, we just cannot be offended.
Yeah.
And I know that's so easy to say. It's so easy to say on this side of it, where you're not in the throes, in the midst of a parent showing anger towards you, but we just cannot take offense.
Yeah.
When we take offense, we will stumble and fall into a temptation that is not honorable to that family, and ultimately it's just detrimental to us.
Yeah. It's similar to what I said with the baking sheet again. I didn't know there'd be so many applications here, but because of the grief I felt in losing my brother in a way that I couldn't control, it was making me hyper controlling in other areas. What can I control? And if you think about the parents that we're serving, they've lost a tremendous amount of control in the day-to-day parenting of their kids who are now in
And
your
that's
home.
a blocked goal.
And that's a blocked goal. Their daily life being with their kid and they're in charge of their life has now been kind of taken out of their hands. And so there will be a quickness then to anger or trying to hyper control smaller things. Like we've had parents get mad about things like what their kids' hair looked like after they came home from hosting, what outfits their kids were wearing. I don't know. I'm trying to think of other scenarios, but they seem like minor things in comparison to like, you just cared for my child for 2 weeks.
Correct.
But they are signifying a frustration in a different area, a loss of control, a blocked goal, probably even a decent dose of shame too.
Yep.
And so if we increase our curiosity about that instead of being really offendable, then we have the opportunity to grow a bond with them even stronger as we figure that out together. And by proxy, then face the enemy together instead of facing each other as the enemy.
Yeah. Kind of like what we talk about in our training, to have a level of curiosity and to understand their story more, because in that it'll build up a compassion towards them. I think what could help us, and none of these may be new to most that are listening to this, but what are some of those other goals that could be perceived as blocked or truly blocked, within that parent that could cause that anger? Like help us understand maybe what it is that they're wrestling through that could feel like there's this block in my life, and because of that,
I think
I'm angry.
A lot of it could be layer upon layer of blocked goals in relationships, relationships with their parents, relationship with siblings, peers, maybe jobs they've lost, like just layers of rejection. And maybe this child represents the one relationship that they felt like they had control over, and they've really lost all these other ones. And so now when they're in a situation where it's challenging to care for that child and you're stepping in and helping them, it's like this final piece of a puzzle of rejection and loss of control for them.
Yep.
And so I think that those relational goals are a really big deal.
Yeah, I think just the simple reality of every parent wants to be a provider.
Yeah.
And in that moment, they're going to be convinced that they are not an adequate provider.
Yeah.
And that's going to feel like a block goal, right? Many of our unfortunately, they're in situations where there's a lot of, again, single moms. A lot of them express that they wish to be married, that, that their story isn't how it is, you know?
They didn't achieve the goal of dad being in the picture right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even just like stable housing, you know what I mean? All the reasons that all the crises that are happening could be a block in their mind, this block goal that they never foresaw being an obstacle, but now it is a block goal, and it's causing frustration. Now it's causing anger. And so there's a litany of things that they're facing in life that could be that block goal.
Yeah. It might be all kinds of things that we might not understand too, and maybe very different than what goals we would have if we were in their shoes. So we might be trying to put ourselves in their shoes and think, man, you've got to get something stabilized with your mental health or deal with this addiction in your life. But their goal that's thrumming through their head every day is, I need to find a job. I need to find a job. I need to find a job. And so for us to come, it doesn't address the root issue of the blocked goal if we come in sideways with a different goal for them, if that makes sense.
Correct, yeah.
And so that curiosity should lead us to connecting and trying to understand what their goal was so we can come alongside them in it.
Yeah, so this is good. So let's stay here a little bit longer. Then I'd like to transition maybe to kids, and then also for you as someone in the ministry serving where you're experiencing anger.
Just get a good baking sheet.
How would you recommend? Let's say you're a host parent or a coach that is receiving the brunt of this anger. What's your recommendation to them? Would you address that right away? Would you give it time, let them settle? Like how would you encourage someone? And obviously every person's different, every situation is different. But on the for the most part, this is what your encouragement would be to them.
I was going to ask you the same thing, so I feel like you need to weigh in too if I leave some gaps here. I think one thing I first want to share is it's okay to set a boundary of like, it's not okay to talk to me that way, or let's take a break until we can calm down.
Yeah. Allie's done a
great job of that.
Helping us realize that that's a good thing to do.
Yeah. She will say sometimes to a parent on the phone, and I do think our staff probably receives anger more than most of our host families.
Probably.
The staff, especially because we're in some of those conversations where we
have to be the bad guy a little bit more.
Yeah, we have to be the bad guy a little more.
Yep.
But she's done a good job when somebody was really kind of going off, yelling at her in anger, of just saying, "Hey, I'm using a calm and respectful tone with you, and I'd like you to use that same with me," or "Hey, let's hop off the phone and you can call me back as soon as you're ready to talk to me," with this kind of the same tone that I'm talking to you. That's probably not perfectly what she says, but I just want to encourage people first. We're not advocating that we just become punching bags for anger. I think it's appropriate and even loving to say, like, "Hey, we're going to talk to each other with a level of respect."
Yep.
Then I think the next step is to really be curious and maybe pull in some other people in your life who will help you do that. Let's say you take a break, you got off that phone call, you're kind of asking the Lord to help you be calm and understanding, but maybe I do need to call somebody like an Allie and say, "Hey, this is what was said. Mom got really mad at me. Can you help me understand what might be behind that?" So that asking of the Lord to help us understand, asking him for discernment, asking a friend for discernment, being curious about what could be behind it. And then I think it's okay to acknowledge that this is something that took me a long time to learn, but even if we did not mean offense, doesn't mean there's never anything to apologize for. So let's say that I said something that was really hurtful to you, like that you were dumb.
Not that would happen.
Yeah. And I was joking around. I thought you'd receive it as a joke, but you got pretty offended at me. Yeah. I think my reaction in the past would have been like, almost like you're not allowed to be offended because I didn't mean that meanly. So you need to chill out.
Yep.
So instead to be like, man, whether or not I meant it, this was hurtful to you, and I am really sorry that it hurt you. I think we can approach that first step back into connection with humility, a lot of humility and a desire to reconnect. Yep. And then start asking those good questions. Will you help me understand what feels hard about this? And man, I want to come alongside you and solve that together.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a first step, is like, it's appropriate to take a break, calm down. Yep. It's appropriate to ask a wise and discerning friend that you're allowed to talk to about the situation, kind of like help me have a balanced perspective and understand why this might have been upsetting. And then to come back in with a lot of humility and a desire to repair. Yep. Not that it will work perfectly every time, but I think there's definitely something there that will be disarming to somebody who's probably never been approached that way.
Yeah. I think that pause is a big one. It's like what we talk about in trauma training, which mainly pertains to we approach our trauma training more with the lens of the kids, but it's pertinent with the parents as well, is that if they never calm down, you'll never be able to reason with them. Yeah. And so you cannot think that in that moment of the heat of the emotions that you're going to be able to have any sort of like conversation that is like sensible.
Yeah. Because
they're not in their right mind.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be able to think through things clearly. They just need to calm down.
Yeah. Well, one of the first things we learn in TBRI is that if your lid is flipped, meaning that you're kind of in your downstairs brain, fight, flight, or freeze or fawn, and your cortisol levels are so high, you actually no longer have access to your prefrontal cortex.
Correct.
So you can't do any learning or reasoning while you're in that state. And so we talk about it in the sense of kids, like a toddler having a tantrum. Stop trying to teach to them. You need to reduce language, help them regulate. It really is the same with an adult. You're not going to accomplish something just in that moment. So the calmer that you can be and kind of like remove the situation from happening and then come back to it when the lid is closed again, that's like your best bet. You're not going to be able to kind of monologue to somebody whose lid is flipped and try to get them to understand your point of view.
No reasoning happening there at all, for sure. I mean, this will be challenging for those that love to resolve conflict right away and don't want to sit in any relational conflict at all. But you're probably going to have to give it at least 24 hours until you re-engage with that person that was angry with you.
And you can be engaged in the spiritual realm during that time.
Absolutely.
Like, be praying that the Holy Spirit would
maybe send a text later that night or the morning, but I would not recommend necessarily a phone call. For sure, not a phone call. If anything, it is in person, but so much gets lost in translation, you know, and I think you have to be adamant that I'm not going to try to resolve this over the phone. This is going to be next time we're in person. Not that it can't happen over the phone. Again, I'm just sensitive to how much can get lost in translation when you're not physically with each other. But I think that there are some pointed things that I could recommend or advise on how to handle this. But I think ultimately what I want people to be challenged by is that, I know this is a sweeping statement, but the majority of the demographic that we're serving, at least recently, has not experienced probably any level of healthy relational conflict, like any resolve in relational conflict. And I think you need to be willing to try. To, one, for the sake of your relationship, but two, to set an example. That their harsh words does not mean it's the end of your friendship. That you can actually still be friends, even when hurt took place, even when offense took place. That's that's grace. That's the gospel in so many ways, you know what I mean? And so for them to be able to experience that with you could be a monumental win in their life. And I think the one thing I would say is, and I hope that as a staff over the next couple months or however long it takes, we figure out how we engage with parents around the language of a block goal. And I think I would, again, just kind of very genuinely say to engage in conversation around, like, what do you feel, not necessarily using the language of block goal, but like, what do you feel like you're just not able to, you know what I mean?
So when you
think
of that blocked goal, because I talked about that increasing our curiosity. I am not saying we've got to figure out that goal and help them accomplish that goal. That's 100% the right thing.
Correct. Yeah.
So then how does having that understanding of the blocked goal really help us in our response? Because maybe their goal is something that really isn't a healthy goal to have.
Correct.
So how do we come alongside them then in that, knowing that that blocked goal is there, but also I might not be able to help you?
Yeah, I think some of that is motivational interviewing. There's a lot of great questions I think you can ask. And I think you could scenario that to death, you know what I mean? With a lot of different scenarios. But it is motivational interviewing, asking really good questions, being curious. But I also think there can be a fault in motivational interviewing where you just hope that they figure it out in good questions. They may need some really good counsel and advice too. And so you have to use a lot of discernment and wisdom and good listening and knowing when maybe you should recommend some advice. Because again, they may not have experienced, especially with conflict in relationship, on how to move forward. And that could be part of their block goal is they have some broken relationships. I mean, again, they don't have family members stepping up to say, I'm willing to care for your kids. So there's something there. Anyways, I think there could be some really solid coaching in regards to what some of that could look like. Help them to navigate that block goal. You know what I mean?
And to truly put yourself in their shoes of what that would feel like, I think grows our compassion so greatly and helps us grapple with and not be defensive to any anger that's being experienced towards us. And like you said, if they have never experienced healthy conflict in their relationships, which I would argue sometimes we haven't either. A lot of people are conflict avoidant, and it feels like a conflict ends a relationship, and maybe even your experience is that it does. And I think it's extremely powerful to model, hey, we had this conflict and now here I am the next day to work on it with you. And I didn't just piece out of your life. I think that's good for us as believers too. I think inside the church, we can struggle with the same thing.
Tammy, I think I'm hoping, I just talked to Ben and Peyton about this. I think this is a great tool that we can use in our mentoring program. We learned from Jason Seipel, who runs the Parable Project, on how that's the first thing they start off with all their kids is they go through the feelings wheel.
Really?
And just have them identify what's the emotion that they're feeling. For as cheesy as this sounds, I do think that this could be something that could be used in time where you circle back around and be like, hey man, just take a posture of like, hey, this sounds cheesy, this looks cheesy, but this has really helped me identify how I'm really feeling. Would you be comfortable just sitting down with me and just kind of talking through this a little bit? And I do think they would. I think if they were willing to say yes, they'll experience some freedom because they'll be able to identify emotions that they have not been able to pinpoint because the anger has taken over.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree.
I am really excited to figure out how to use this tool more effectively. So
Yeah. Do you feel like Tammy gave a good understanding? Let's say
I do.
I'm looking at this wheel and I feel fearful right now, but I don't know why. So I go to the next wheel out and it's like, man, I think I'm feeling pretty insecure.
Yeah.
Like I don't have good things to say on this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm insecure about
Yeah.
it. So is there power just in me knowing that is what I feel that helps? It's kind of like name it and tame it that we teach about kids. Like, okay, I'm feeling insecure right now. Maybe that helps me know what to pray over that feeling.
I think it helps even more so when you are a follower of Christ, because a lot of this deals with your identity in Christ. You get to then substitute the lies with what is true about you, with what Jesus says about you, with what God's word says about you.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the main reasons to be identify the emotions that what it is that so let's say it's you're jealous. You go all the way on the outside part of the wheel. You're jealous. There could be some identity things there and some lies that you're believing that need to be substituted with what is true. And that's where I would first start with that person, is to identify the lies and substitute those, to take captive of those thoughts and make them obedient to Jesus Christ. Now, there could be stuff more that's outside of that, but I would definitely start there, their identity, especially when they know if they're a follower of Jesus Christ.
Do you think even if you're not relationally in a place with them yet where you could get this out and talk about it together, that you could ask the Holy Spirit and maybe some educated guessing to discern what that parent might be feeling? Let's say they did just have an angry reaction to you. Let's go out to the next line. Man, humiliated. I wonder if they're feeling humiliated that their kid's in my home and not theirs. And if I'm able to kind of educated guess and ask the Lord for discernment about that, can I go find a scripture about their identity and text that to them and say, here's what I'm praying.
And you tell
right
them,
now.
if they identify humility, I think humiliated, that's a good one. I think to kind of pick on, because I bet there's a lot of parents that feel that way for the exact reason that you said. That is an opportunity for you to substitute that lie with what is true. And you can say, man, I get it. If I were in your shoes, I would be tempted, because the enemy's here to kill, steal, and destroy.
Yeah.
He's a roaring lion looking to devour those that are in vulnerable situations, that are vulnerable. His native tongue is lying. He's convincing you that you should feel humiliated because you have fallen short as a parent. Let me just tell you that that's not true. In fact, you have been so brave to say, I need help in this time of need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And here's what God's word says about you as someone who has been bought by his grace, redeemed. Your sin traded for his righteousness. Here's what's true about you. Here's what God thinks of you.
Yeah, and in that way, you're fighting in the spiritual realm by putting the belt of truth, not just aiming to put it on them, but actually putting it on you. You're re-identifying this person that was angry at you, that Satan wanted to divide you from. I'm identifying that they're feeling humiliated and that's not their identity. And so you're rebuckling the belt of truth on yourself.
Absolutely.
As well.
That's so good. And how many times have we also heard that they feel humiliated because their parent has shamed them for taking this route, even though their parent's not willing to step up and care for their kids.
Yeah.
So they're hearing these lies from their parent and they're feeling ashamed for the decision that they made. They feel humiliated in that regard. You now get to process that relationship with them. Well, why do you think your parent is shaming you? Yeah. Well, they may feel humiliated because they, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because they see their grandkid in this situation. They maybe feel, I could have done something else. I could have done something different. Yeah. Or, you know what I mean? Fill in the blank, Yeah. And here's an opportunity then. We're going to pray for your parents right now. Because that's what the Word of God says. Yeah. You know what I mean? You may not want to, but let me pray. Let me pray in faith with you right now, because you don't have it right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't have it in you right now. Yeah. Anyways.
The other thing I think is so great about this is that God is not a God of confusion. And I think oftentimes what we can feels confusing because we don't have language for it, which again, it goes back to that name it and tame it thing. When we can understand what we're feeling, then we have a better chance of addressing it, controlling it, introducing truth. And I think if we don't have any of these words or any skill set built to get to what we're feeling, it probably will come out sideways as anger. And what the enemy, I think, is attempting to do in our cultures, not just anger, but depression and suicidal ideation. He's building from this point of confusion. You don't know what you're feeling, and I'm just going to add all these destructive voices to it. And so God is a God of clarity. Like it gives you an opportunity, a God of truth to attack those lies and that confusion with truth.
Yep. Here's what I love about this. Because this is so built on relationship, that parent is going to feel, whether you're a coach or a host family, that parent is going to feel as if you're for them way more than you trying to fight for them for secure housing, for something, you know what I mean, or a job. Again, we're going to do those things, but if you're willing to put in the hard work and fight through some of that relational tension and to really sit in some of those things, they're going to feel as if you're for them. Again, more than you fighting for that house for them. There's a lot of power that's found in that. And
especially when you're still there fighting for them after maybe they treated you in a way that was not great.
After offense. Absolutely.
If you're able to work through that conflict. I can't remember if I've shared this on the podcast or just with some of the staff, but when I worked at Boys Town and we had girls in our home who would have big floods of emotion, and sometimes they would break things in the home. Sometimes they would physically try to harm us. Just like, we called it being non-compliant. Have I talked about that before on the podcast? Yeah.
Well, on the podcast, I don't know.
Yeah. So we'd be like, they're non-compliant. It's just such a funny phrasing. But big flood of emotions, they're usually, you were real calm during that. And then there was a consequence afterwards, typically, where they had less privileges or something. But if you walked through that big flood of emotions, especially if they tried to physically attack you, and then you repaired, I know it sounds funny. I have been physically attacked a few times. Once you have repaired, they were like glue by your side. Like,
so you saw that time and time again.
Yes, time and time again. An attachment that had not previously been there when they were living in your home in peace. After the conflict, it was like this like extra attachment. It's like the phrase, it's better to err and repair than to never err. Like there's something about getting broken and put back together and restored.
And you'll see that. I don't know if we have time to get into the kids. Here's maybe the one comment. If you do that well with kids you're hosting or mentoring, you're going to see the same thing. Do you think, Mel?
Yeah.
You're going to see that they draw closer to you, not push away.
Well, if you think about it from the kid's perspective, I'm picturing like one of our kids has a big flood of emotion. They're really upset. Man, most good parents, and maybe there's some discipline that's needed involved at some point, but most good parents are going to come back to a point of restoration and closeness to their child. But man, think about the parents that we're serving who never had a parent do that for them their whole life. And so a big flood of emotions meant you're kind of rejected in relationship.
Another block goal there. It's another block goal.
And so what an opportunity to come in and say, maybe you've never experienced this as a child when you were forming, and you should have been. I mean, our kids should be experiencing conflict and repair, conflict and repair, conflict and repair as they're growing. And if you haven't experienced that or experienced it in a really unhealthy way, we're getting an opportunity to introduce truth that is just brand new and from the Lord.
Let's go to, I think for time's sake, maybe like with that host parent or coach, and they mentor, you find anger rising up inside of you. How would you encourage them to handle that in the midst of hosting situations, mentoring situations, coaching situations? Where would you first begin?
I think first of all, I think two big ideas, and one of them you kind of debunked a little bit, but I still think there's something to it. It's not just anger is a blocked goal, but anger is a secondary emotion a lot of times. So anger being a blocked goal, if I'm a host family, I didn't debunk it. I just you just
I think it gets downplayed.
I
think the emotion of anger can get downplayed because it's defined as a second. Anyways,
right, which can make it feel like you're excusing a sin tied to the anger.
Exactly.
I totally get it. So if you're a coach, your blocked goal might be like, man, I want this so bad for this family. I see your kid missing you in the host family's home. I see you not making the choices that would lead to you being back together with them. And so there could be anger that comes. So understanding that your real emotion is tied to you want good things for that parent, and that's being blocked. But then the secondary emotion, or anger being a secondary emotion, I think speaks to you might be feeling true grief for this family. And Chris Holt told me once, actually, while my brother had cancer, that anger is just an easier emotion to feel than grief sometimes. And there is, in recognizing that grief that lies below the anger and asking the Lord to come in as a God of all comfort, I think there's a real power for us to address those emotions and to appropriately share with people around you, to pray over you and help you understand it's the same. It's the curiosity about yourself. Can I understand where this emotion is coming from so that the Lord and I can deal with the real emotion behind it and it's not coming out as anger.
Yep.
I do feel like we have like 1 minute left until we have a meeting. I feel like we could talk about this for a long time.
We could. I think for the most part, people get the point. Like we should probably be pretty sensitive to this emotion of anger in the midst of this
and
ministry.
Almost expect it, right? Know that it's going to come.
But I would just encourage you for yourself. Repressed anger is just more problems waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Even like health issues.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all know that. But we got to be able to, when we realize that there's anger, there's probably a block, go process through it appropriately. Mm-hmm. And this is the beauty of the saints, a beauty of a church to rally behind you and to just confess and acknowledge that you're wrestling through some anger. And I need help processing through that. Mm-hmm. Would you pray for me? Stuff like that. So,
yeah, I agree. I think it's something we should, biblically, it's pretty clear that we should take it seriously, anger in ourselves and know that anger will be in the lives of those around us. Don't be dismissive and just like, I've got an anger problem. It's a big deal. Take the time to look into what's going on behind that. Get a counselor involved if you need to. Yep. Get some trusted believers in your life who are going to pray over you. Practice the habit of confession. Yep. Be specific.
Use this tool seriously.
Yeah, use that to help you understand.
We will, friends. We're going to be coming out.
Humiliated.
We're going to come out with, I think, some tools. I think in some way that will be talked about at some of our future gatherings and trainings about how to use that well.
Yeah. Well, since we're wrapping up here, we should talk about the most angry person we know, which is Ben Otto.
Yeah, he's so angry.
Yeah, he's so angry. Now, Ben is getting married.
In less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, in like 9 days, 8 days. Pretty exciting. So what that means, what people on the podcast need to know is there's going to probably be a couple weeks off.
Most importantly, you're not going to get the podcast for the next couple weeks.
The biggest gap you will feel in your lives is no podcast for a couple weeks. But we did decide to let him go on a honeymoon instead of editing the podcast.
Yeah. We may make a cameo on his honeymoon just so that he can shoot.
It's a good idea.
I think Emily would approve.
Yeah. Would Emily be mad if we made you edit the podcast on your honeymoon?
No, yeah.
She would love it.
Yeah.
She does hold us at arm's length. She barely hangs out. She like a little bit mad at us. All the time. Is she the angry one in your relationship?
It's a low grade anger.
We'll pray for her.
No, we're super excited for you.
Yep. Well, yeah, so it's going to be a couple weeks, right?
It's going to be a couple weeks, so next month is the next day. I'm just kidding.
Well, this will come out next week, right? So there'll just be
there might only be a 1 week gap.
One, maybe two.
We'll see how his honeymoon goes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if being good will mean it comes back faster or being bad.
Yeah. We'll see. Verdict's out.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yep. Tomorrow's the next day.